Good morning, everybody. If it is Mondays, a Monday, it is Money Mondays. My name is Paul Johnson. I am the Director of Economic and Community Development here at GPCOG, and I am joined by,
Belinda Ray, the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at GPCOG.
and with that, we will jump into it. My topic today is CPACE financing, which I don't know much about. But what I do know is I have three slides for you, and the SBA, the Small Business Administration, spent 45 minutes in a meeting with me last week explaining it to me. So I said, hey, I'm going to put this on Money Mondays. So here it is. So this is from in partnership with the United States Department of Energy. It is a great financing tool for a lot of commercially owned businesses for essentially climate resiliency projects, which might mean on doing a certain really anything to do with climate resiliency, but a lot of it with energy seems to be the most common case studies that I have seen. But anyways, the kicker to it is essentially you can attach this financing to the property. So it's not necessarily to, let's say, as the property transfers ownership, you can actually keep this essentially this loan with the property versus the owner. You can do that as because there's mechanisms to repay this financing through property tax. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit unique, but I believe, like for instance, I think the Rue Institute will be using this in some form in Portland. I believe that's what the SBA told me. And Maine does have a good program for it. To give you a couple of quick examples on the next page, these are not in Maine, but here you can just kind of have an idea of, hey, what kind of projects are this is the financing for? You can see there was a microgrid project. It was $1 million project in Hartford, Connecticut. These are all linked in the actual slide deck. If they are not linked, it'll be easy to find them. But here are three examples, one with Pensacola, Florida for hurricane proofing. So it's all about resiliency. And again, they're unique because it's not necessarily attached to the owner, it's attached to the property. And of course, in Maine here, I believe you get this through Efficiency Maine. So I put a link right through the direct link, Belinda, direct link. Dir-
Is it not showing?
No,
I'm at
no,
the last
it's not on my
slide.
screen.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, it's
Is it
okay.
there?
Ah, there it is.
Why is there such a delay?
I don't know.
I assure you, it was seamless, like on my end.
It's okay. I don't even you can tell I don't really know much of what I'm talking about this morning. So it's completely
Uh,
fine. Everybody visit this link. I know it's a common financing mechanism. I just haven't had a ton of exposure to it. But it is run through Efficiency Maine here in the state. So we do have a participating program, which is good. Lots of developers are accessing it. But the SBA hunted me down because I believe they think there's opportunity for lots more people to access it because I don't think the program's being as taken advantage of as it could be. So with that, I am going to very gladly turn this over to you, Belinda.
that's funny. I'm gonna watch the video afterwards and see, like, was there a huge delay or is it just your
It
computer?
didn't matter if I
No.
wasn't doing so poorly, I wouldn't have cared. I needed to get this.
All right. Moving on.
Oh, shoot.
Let me get my mouse working again. Okay, I want to talk today about community polling services, and this is a essentially a bulk purchase service that GPCOG is hoping to provide. We're working on it right now. So the question is, what if you could really determine what your community, like your whole community, thinks about projects, initiatives, policy things you're working on? Public comment is great, email is great, but sometimes it winds up being one-sided because there's advocacy going on, and maybe what comes before you in these forums is not the full picture. So what if you could get the full picture? Preemptive confession here. I'm using a lot of information from Flashvote. They have a great website. There's a link here for you to go visit it. And it was through a Flashvote presentation at a conference that our communications specialist attended, that she got the idea for, hey, what if we can bulk purchase something like this from Flash Vote or from someone else? So that's what we're looking at. So let's talk about what it is. The way that you get the representative information is that you have a panel, and this can range from 250 people to above 650, depending on your community size. And the panel is statistically representative of your whole community. You figure out what you want to find out about, like, what are you working on? Is there a hot button issue that you really would be helpful to know what the whole community thinks, as opposed to the very polarized emails that you're getting? You know, are you looking at building a new community center? Do you have to do some kind of school building or renovation or consolidation? Or is it dog leash laws? It seems like a small issue. It's huge everywhere. So you put together the scientific survey, and the consultant, whether it's Flashvote or someone else, they help with this. You poll the panelists, and then you analyze the results. You get the results very quickly. Now, here is the section that is very Flashvote heavy. I have taken a lot of screenshots from them. So some examples that they give in this lovely video they have. So imagine your government is wondering, should we allow bicycles on a trail? So they are getting a lot of emails. They've been talking about it, and they get all of these emails where people say it's horrible. No, never. It will ruin my life. Nobody will ever use the trails again. They'll get ruined. And they essentially analyze this like, no, everybody hates this. So they're thinking we can't possibly allow bikes on trails. But then they do their first flash vote, and it takes 48 hours. And they found out only 47% of this panel, this representative panel, was, I'll get to that at the end, thank you, was actually opposed. So really, they had that in their quiver, and then they could think about it a little more holistically that way. Second example, community center. And people have been dealing with this. Should we rebuild the town hall, new town hall, community center, any of that? So they did a survey. They got 489 responses. That seems really helpful. And everybody's saying, yeah, absolutely, we want it, we'll pay for it, good idea. So they decided to test it after hearing all of this with a flash vote. They want to verify specifically that 85% of the people have said, yeah, absolutely, we would pay for it, raise my taxes. 48 hours later, they find out, no, only 33% would pay for a new community center. So they go back to the drawing board and they say, you know what, maybe we'll just try to renovate. And people say, oh, wonderful, they have listened to us and they're happy about it. This is from Flashvote also, obviously, that traditional public input can be misleading because it is unscientific. You can get good input, but a lot of the times it is unscientific. And the hotter the topic, the worse the data. And why is that? That's generally because people who are, I would say, generally upset about something, like I don't usually go and say, yes, I love what you're doing at town hall, right? You go up to town hall to say, don't do that. That's going to ruin things. So if people are opposed, they start organizing, and then you're hearing from all the opposed people, and you're not necessarily hearing from people who might have a different view. They did a survey to test flash vote. So they did a flash vote survey, and then they did an open survey link. So like that one I just talked about where they had the rebuild the community hall or something, and they did a survey and they thought it looked good, and then they did a flash vote survey and it wasn't. So in this community, they did both. They did flash vote and they did a survey, and they're trying to figure out if they should even spend time on the issue of backyard chickens. Like, do people care about this? Is it worth us having 5 council meetings? So they do a flash vote and they open a survey link. And after 48 hours, here's the result. The flash vote is saying 27% of your community cares about this. All right, so it's reasonable, but it's not huge. There might be other priorities. The open survey link, on the other hand, indicates 49% care about it. And then as you leave that open survey link open for 30 days, Now suddenly 79% of your community cares about it. And why is this? Because a pro chicken person found the open link within 10 minutes. And then what do? They email their friends. They say, hey, take this survey, take this survey. And so there's someone who's really kind of whipping up enthusiasm around the survey, and it's stilting. The results end up being skewed. So here's where we are. We are putting out a request for proposals to see who can provide this scientific surveying service. We know Flashvote can. We're hearing from them. We're trying to see who else can, because we need to find out if there are other providers and how much the costs are. They, Becca and Tom, have put together a planning committee. They put together the RFP, and we're hoping to organize a bulk purchase. We are currently seeking communities who are interested in being part of the pilot year of this project. Now, you can indicate your interest by emailing me or by emailing Becca. And I forgot to put Becca's, I forgot to link her email, but I'll link it before I send the slides out. But her email, bhoskins@gpcog.org. So you can contact us if you're interested in participating. Doesn't mean you're committed, but if you want to learn more and you think your community might want to, once we find out the costs, see if you can. It'd be great to hear from folks. Okay, before I get there were a couple of questions on this, and they were, one, how do you determine a representative cross-section? So the consultant helps with that. And what they do is they figure out the demographics, a lot of different demographics by age, by ethnicity, by maybe political party. I don't know if they take that, but they take a bunch of different things. And then you invite people to be part of the panel, and they fill out information about their demographics. And the survey company makes sure that your panel matches your percentages for your community. So they know that you have the same percentage on your panel that is in your community. Do people vote? I'm so sorry. Anonymously. No, it would be anonymous. Like, people wouldn't know who voted what. And I don't even know if the panel gets publicized. You might have to do something to let people know transparently that there really is a panel, that you're not just making this up. But people's votes would not be publicized. So, and we can get more answers about that as we get deeper into this process, but thanks for those questions, Mary. All right, so I did have a couple other slides. Project Canopy is still open, due on October 30th, and I just threw this up here because they have some office hours coming up on October 1st and the 15th. So if you were interested in this, I did cover it on Money Mondays, that's linked there. And I also linked our YouTube channel. I guess I was just really looking for some publicity there. And then I think that's it. Oh, except that, no Money Mondays for the next 2 weeks. Paul and I are both doing other things next Monday, and then the 13th is Indigenous Peoples Day. So that is that. Okay. Gosh, my throat is really
The greatest day of my adult life is getting rid of my backyard chickens. So
getting rid of. I think
yeah, so done
yeah.
with them. So done with them. There was just chicken poop everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my son worked at Camp Ketchup for a while, and he said that was the nastiest part.
Yeah.
He did
Yep. I paid.
horses and goats and rabbits, and he said he
Yeah.
hated doing the chickens.
Yep. I paid all this money to like make the front of my house look nice and pretty, and there was just poop everywhere.
Oh,
So
you had free range.
yep.
Nice. The chickens look good though.
They do. They do
Very
when
picturesque.
when the neighbors drive by, but not when I'm, not when I'm out there. So
Not when you want to walk barefoot in the
yeah, right.
summer. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
And we'll see you in 3 weeks. We're
3 weeks.
gone for the next 2, 3 weeks. See
Yeah.
you later. Have a great October. Bye.